godfather creates you as a godson. When he's done with you, he'll bury you. That's what happened. And that's why Ambode unraveled very quickly. That's why he fell apart very quickly, because there was no ideology. Nobody knew Ambode. It's the same thing that will happen another 4 years or in a few months when the Sanwo-Olu guy start to maintain any form of independence from the godfathers of Lagos politics. They will bury him the same way. It's the reason why the people of Lagos must adopt a take-it-back approach. Take back their state from a godfather that is controlling, that sees it as a personal estate. You know, and if you doubt, take it back. When you see Obama in California campaigning for candidates in the U.S. saying that they want to take back their country from whomever, you understand that this is one idea that is not only local, but international and global in nature. So it encompasses everything we've lost, everything we think we're losing, and how to retrieve that and start to rebuild our lives. And Lagos is a big example of where you should even apply that particular slogan, take it back. Lagos needs to quickly take back the state, and we will take back the rest of Nigeria, including Lagos.
Well, the last time you were here,
if Nigerians were to give you the opportunity to actually lead Nigeria, I wouldn't want to use the word rule, to actually govern them.
Yeah, we leaders, not rulers.
What do you have in mind? How do you intend to actually achieve bringing Nigeria forward?
Fantastic. You know, I would say the first three things we need to do immediately, and we have 10 to do simultaneously, but I would say 3 first is to get Nigeria to become secure again. Nigeria is completely insecure. There are countries that are at war that are doing way better than Nigeria during peacetime in terms of violence, in terms of public safety, and every other thing that has to do with safety. You have Boko Haram running riots all over the place. You have herdsmen killing farmers. You have kidnappers, armed robbers. Policemen are going haywire, abusing human rights through what they call SAS, which is Special Anti-Robbery Squad. Nobody's safe in this country because everything is falling apart and things are degenerating. And the second thing is, of course, power, electricity. We have to grow electricity for the miserable 3,700 megawatts. We should be talking about, 3,700 gigawatts of electricity by now. And it's to bring technology to bear in that sector, bring in renewable energy, because Morocco is doing it.
It's a bit easier said than done.
It's not.
Fashola, when he was governor, I'd like to quote him, he actually said that the easiest thing to do in terms of electricity, it should be fixed within the first 3 months of being in that office. He's now the minister for power.
Yes, I'm not one of the people.
Do you think it's getting worse, or do you think it's getting better?
I'm not one of the people who believe in Fashola in the first place. You can go on YouTube. I once confronted him at the London School of Economics. These are a bunch of people who are doing the business of deodorizing cities, and I call them power.
How do Nigerians know that the same thing is not going to happen?
Because I have pedigree, I have a past. People know that for 30 years I've been doing consistently the same kind of thing. They know that I've been an entrepreneur before. I created a brand that started from a laptop and it became a global brand in 12 years. I've hired people. I know how things work. I can make things happen because I've made things happen before. Some of them that you see who are in power today, they somehow credit Sahara reporters for opening the space for them to come to office. Even when it's convenient, they also accuse us of doing things that are wrong. But that shows to you that they know that when it comes to consistency, there are things to be done. There are a lot of low-hanging fruits out there. If you're a leader who can follow the money, which is what I've done at Sahara Reporters, I follow the money everywhere, including to their bedrooms, bank accounts, follow it to Dubai, UK. I follow oil companies. I know what they're doing, how all these things are done the wrong way. If you have a leader who has the will, who has understanding, who has got the exposure and capacity and intellect, it's easy to do so many of these things. It's not exactly rocket science to get people to come and fix solar panels or create solar farms, because you can calculate how much it will cost to do it in the northern part of the country per square kilometer, and you know how many kilowatts of electricity it will generate, and how that you can do a turnaround in some cases 90 days. is how long it takes. But when it comes to the Nigerian factor, where you ask somebody to impose solar panels, and they insist first and foremost that you should give them SUVs instead of solar panels, then you have a problem. When you ask people to construct road, I wanted to talk about infrastructure as the third major reason why we're lagging, and we need to immediately do that. When you ask people to do that, when you ask people to go and construct road, and you first ask them to go and build you a house, you are not telling the contractor to do his job. So you have a bunch of selfish, greedy leaders in this country, and Fashola is one of them. I have said it before, I've confronted him before. When he left as governor of Lagos State, they found out that he built a borehole for 600 million naira. And he built a parking garage for some ridiculous amount of money. Leaders like that are not real leaders. There's a difference between doing the talking and walking the walk. And these are the kind of leaders that are confronted with our reporters over the years, exposed them. And when you look at it overall, it's so easy to get a lot of things done as opposed to being difficult. But they like to press the panic button among Nigerians or within Nigerians where they say, oh, Nigeria is a complicated place. It's difficult to do things. But I ask people, if Nigeria is really a complicated place, it should be hard to steal from such a place. But you can find a Nigerian governor who can walk away with $500 million and go buy houses in Dubai, own a private jet, and they come around and tell you Nigeria is complicated. Nigeria is not complicated. It's just complicated thieves that's all over the place, running riot over Nigerian resources and its people, oppressing them. That's the problem. The moment we get them out of the way, we get all these dead weights out of the way, Nigeria will start working just the same way Ghana is working now, the same way Rwanda is working. Because I don't want to make comparison between Nigeria and Europe and America, but the same way South Africa is somehow functioning, the democracy is working on that, institutions are working in terms of capacity and functionality. Nigeria is not working because there's nobody who knows how to make things work around here. You just make math, as we say in Nigeria Palace.
Omoyele Sowore, born 16 February 1971, is a human rights activist, pro-democracy campaigner, founder of online news agency Sahara Reporters, and presidential candidate of the African Action Congress. Omoyele Sowore is an indigenous of Ilaje, Ondo State in southwest Nigeria. Sowore was born in the Niger Delta region of the country, where he was also raised to a polygamous family of 16 children. At 12, he learned how to ride the motorcycle so that he could fish at the lake for the entire family before going to school every morning. Sowore studied geography and regional planning at the University of Lagos from 1989 to 1995, with his academic program extended by 2 extra years after being expelled twice for political reasons and student activism. He was the president of the University of Lagos Student Union government between 1992 and 1994, where he was keenly involved in anti-courtism and anti-corruption advocacy. Sowore holds a master's degree in public administration from the Columbia University. He also played a key role in the actualization of the June 12 mandate. Sowore led 5,100 students in protest against the Nigerian government in 1992. The protest resulted in police opening fire and 7 persons being killed. Sowore was arrested and tortured. Omoyele also got involved in the demand for democratic government taking over from the military in 1993. This resulted in several arrests, detentions, and life-threatening treatment by government officials. He started Sahara Reporters in a small room in Manhattan in 2006 to fight corruption and wrong government practices. Sahara Reporters is supported by grants donated by the Ford Foundation and Umedia Foundation. As part of its policy, the medium does not accept adverts and financial support from the Nigerian government. On February 25, 2018, Sowore announced his intention to run for the position of president in the 2019 general election. In August 2018, he founded a political party, the African Action Congress, on which platform he will run for presidency.
What does restructuring mean to you? I like the fact that you said it's a buzzword, right? And it means different things to different people.
Yeah.
But our position is simply on 2 things: that Nigeria is due for restructuring. There's no question about that. A country that's been around for 100 years, that's gone through all kinds of things, war, political instability, all kinds of ethnic, religious crisis needs to be restructured, But the restructuring that needs to happen first has to have a generation tank to it. What is generational tank to it is that I do not subscribe to a restructuring that's going to be carried out by someone who is 80 years old on behalf of a 47-year-old guy. We are 70% of the population. I don't think that the 80-year-old people should be the ones driving the conversation about restructuring. The restructuring that Nigeria needs also needs for us to change even our fraudulent constitution that was made for us and handed over to us by the military. And we didn't sit down there, we didn't sign the document, but they say we the people of Nigeria. And we can do that when young people who are agile, who are passionate, who have intellect and capacity take over the country. We will restructure the country in a matter of time, in such a way that even things that the older generation people who are talking about buzzwords don't understand. Some of them don't even know how to use emails. Our restructuring have to have a digital dimension. Question for Malcolm. Yes.
So we have been frustrated. Cameroon forced us to leave our territory.
Wow.
Because why I saying that it is Nigerian government sell our heritage to Cameroon. Cameroon have mocked us several times that our president, our leaders have sold our birthright. For me to change identity from Etum to Andre is not possible. That is where our situation started. We're moving in the street begging for the food. We're living in the school, primary school, where we have been having a home and a kingdom.
So how many people do you say are here again?
We are 3,780 people. We have been comprised with the two primary and secondary school area. This secondary school, the other section is primary school. As you pass, it's just a stone's throw.
So where do you sleep?
We sleep in the classroom.
You sleep in the classroom?
Yes.
So the Nigerian government brought you here.
It is
just abandoned in an open classroom. The government is raising money, saying that they are resettling Bakassi people. Florence Etagiwa collects money that I know of. What happened to all that money? They don't come here at all?
Well, a peanut cannot solve the situation. Our situation needs a home and source of livelihood. For you to bring us rice, bring us a peanut, train us how to fish. We can even fence for our living. Give us a place called a home. That's where we can even fence for our living. Magiwa coming here to give us rice, give us cow. It can't solve the situation of our people.
Where would you rather be?
We have been in the Cameroon, in the Bakassi Peninsula.
You want to go back home?
No, we want to have a place that call our home here in Nigeria because we cannot be under a Cameroonian again. That territory has been totally sold to Cameroon.
Let's go check out the situation.
I couldn't give you information. There's a woman that died here less than 2 months ago. Wow. Trying to give birth to a child inside one of those classrooms.
Wow.
Our cops is still, they have been begging government to buy them a casket.
Wow.
To bury that woman. 2 months, the cops is still there.
National Commission for Refugee, at least to provide us a casket and feed this child. Where is the child? To feed this child is very, very difficult for government and it's something It's 1 month plus.
Hope you see the baby knows.
What's the baby's name?
Sanwa.
Smile, man. Say hello to the future. Yeah? Do you want some milk? You want some milk? You want to say something? Just say, take it back. Take your country back. So take it back. Take it back.
beg packages ganja. We good resort. Show them what we got. Sahara report. No bribing easy, no greedy easy, get your PVC for better Nigeria. Mama Africa, no food to eat again. Papa Nigeria, your kids are running away. Wale Adenuga, the story super. Human resources for everybody. Take it back, Omoyele Sowore. Take it back, Omoyele Sowore. For humanity, electricity, technology, opportunity. Take it back, Omoyele Sowore. Take it back, Omoyele Sowore. For humanity, electricity, technology, opportunity. Suffering a family made us say what to do. Let people know that I ain't a boy they do yahoo. Sound education, these people not feel produce. Beautiful garden animals on our and democracy, we are not crazy, I've been waiting for Captain Income. We are not stupid, all these things where they produce. Generator, they know they use. People like you, we know they get it. At the end, we go pay the light bill. Take it back, Omoyele Sowore. Take it back, Omoyele Sowore. For humanity, electricity, technology, opportunity, take it back, Omoyele Sowore.
Nigeria youth, Mona wise, Mona get sense. 2019, Mona vote Sowore Omoyele. Take it back, 2019.
Wake up, Nigerian youths. This is your time to take your country back. Vote Omoyele Sowore for president come 2019.
I beg, I take God and beg now. I beg, may we vote for this guy. Sowore. Now young person, he ain't they come out. If we don't vote for him, who want vote for Atiku? We don't first steal before for 8 years. They come back. All these people, their children, they Canada, they UK, they US. They drive the best car. If you go downtown Toronto, you see coming they drive. They live for condos. They burn our money. They lavish our money. For how long we still they vote for them? Then your future go tie down because of we give you 5,000. What did they worry our youths?
Sowore Kaichoro, 2019 election now. AAC take it back, Kaichoro. Unu biko, and I got him okay. I chop my house. Fresh blood, Kaichoro.
2019 is a year for us to decide where we want Nigeria to be in the next 10 years. Let us stand together and bring in new spirit, a new man, a man that will stand for every citizen. Let us vote AAC, African Action Congress.
Please, let's support Omoyele. We are going to take Nigeria back. Nigeria must move forward.
I'm tired of seeing vote. Your PVC is your way. Who are we voting for, Biko? Are we voting for this same government? Are we voting for past government? Are we recycling presidents? Who are we voting for? But we have powerful celebrities in this country, yet you guys cannot do nada. Sowore guy, you're always acting like you can't see him, or acting as if you can. We're in this Nigeria together, oh. Trust me, if you don't suffer now, we go still suffer later on the far run. All of you guys is on the fence, acting like you don't know what's up. If you can come together and pick somebody, say, this is the person we choose, why we not go vote for that person? Let them call the stop with vote. Who are we voting for?
Time has come for us to save our country from the cabals, the vultures that have come to devour us. We are not going to take it anymore. Everybody must rise up and get this done this time around, once and for all.
Nigeria has seen on the first election. Dibo, Lord Dibo, Murao, Shotigba, Dibo for Omoyele Sowore. Baba ni o lo le se. Dibo fún.
We are giving our solidarity, our votes to Omoyele Sowore. Nigerians, wake up. Do not sell your vote. Atiku has nothing to offer Nigeria. Buhari has nothing to offer Nigeria. You've seen what the country is like today. Please, vote Omoyele Sowore.
I strongly believe that Omoyele Sowore is the most qualified candidate because of his pedigree, his integrity, the way he stands up for what is right and what he's been doing in these past few years. I've been following him for a while now. I can't beat my chest to the fact that I believe when he gets into office, things are going to change.
It's time for the youth to take it back. Omoyele Sowore is the right man for Nigeria. Now we will vote for. If you dey back home, you dey abroad, call your brothers and your sister, your father, your mother, make them vote Omoyele Sowore. Forget about PDP, APC.
I specifically will support Omoyele Sowore because of his background as an investigative journalism and have given lots of Nigerians insights to what's happening that has made us fall.
We need to take it back. We need to walk it. We need to make sure that we do not allow these people continue after 2019. Like Sowore will say, if we make that mistake, we are doomed forever. And young people especially, if we miss it in 2019, then maybe Buhari was right when he says that the young people are lazy. But we need to take it back. We need to prove that young people are not lazy. Come on now. We deserve some accolades. All right?
Listening, could you please introduce yourself?
My name is Omoyele Sowore. Until now known as the publisher of Sahara Reporters. That is probably my best known daytime job.
So, what have you contributed to Nigeria from the time you were born till now?
The best times I could look back at the times I was in the university when between 1989 and 99, when I joined other student leaders, national pro-democracy activists, international forces to fight against military rule. And that struggle culminated in a handover of power from the military in 1999 to civilians. And for almost 20 years now, we've had civilian rule. And I've also, during that period, engaged serially with ensuring that the civil society in Nigeria is empowered, created a media platform that had not only local impact but global reach. And I think that has shaped the way the media is covering news, particularly in terms of development, corruption, and other issues affecting Nigerians socially, politically, economically, and culturally. And so I pretty much think these are areas where my contributions have been, most felt, and I have scars to show for it, for standing up for what is right from time to time in this country, Nigeria, and outside of Nigeria as well. So, in general, I've been a pro-democracy activist, a human rights activist. I've been a media practitioner on a disruptive level. I have been an environmentalist fighting to help protect the Niger Delta environment. And I've been, widely traveled, exposed, in general.
What major contributions would you make to Nigeria when you become president? First, when you become your party's flag bearer, then president.
I think it will be the best thing for any party to have, not me now, us as a candidate, because we already have a political platform that has taken it back. So what do we bring to Nigeria is, brand new ideas on how to govern a nation that has been misgoverned for 58 years. Plenty of positive energy in a way that the country has never experienced before. We are going to be bringing in brand new hands, both locally and internationally, to take charge of this country. We are bringing in new sources of funding to take care of the projects that we need. A proper, holistic development of Nigeria in a way that we are starting as if nothing exists here. So we are building Nigeria brand new. It would be wrong to say we want to rebuild Nigeria, because quite honestly, there's nothing to build on in Nigeria. There are no roads. There are no roads to build on. Almost no railways to build on. Almost no hospitals to build on. No schools to build on. We just have a system that is getting by on its own without proper planning. I'm a planner too, so I have to throw that in. apart from having a master's in public administration, I have a bachelor's degree in geography and planning from the University of Lagos. So within this framework, the security of the people of this country will be completely rebuilt. Power, electricity will be brought about in this country in such a way that you can actually have supply of power 24/7. And we mean that we can deliver this in 3 years based on our understanding of the energy mixes that are out there, modern ways of bringing electricity, renewable ways of bringing electricity, and also very strong and well-tested ways of expanding whatever is in existence. I know I said before there's nothing to build on, but whatever we can, we'll take them as raw materials. This is how to build this country now. And the same thing will happen to infrastructure. We've said it several times that we will turn this country into a construction site because we need to build 17 million homes. We need to produce almost 24,000 megawatts of electricity. We are doing 7,000, able to transmit 3,000 right now. We want to be able to transmit at least 21,000 of that to homes, factories, schools, hospitals, and every nook and cranny where they're needed. We're talking about almost 220,000 kilometers of highways, in which wherever there's one highway now, we double it or completely abandon them and build them elsewhere. Because our roads are built in convoluted ways where they are supposed to go straight, they are diverted to go round. We saw that traveling to Jos. I don't know, maybe they're like pre-colonial highways. Instead of traveling directly into Jos, you have to, go in the convoluted ways in some places. It doesn't make sense. There's a lot of things that don't make sense in this country that we have to discard, abandon, and just build brand new. We need to do the same for fighting corruption because we are bleeding right now. Whatever is supposed to even help, build this country has been taken out to buy houses in Dubai, in London, in the US. They are used to buy jets, luxurious cars, and we have said it that instead of buying 50 Prado Jeeps, we would love to buy 100 tractors, so that the agriculture we're talking about, people can start using cows to push plows, use tractors to do it, and we want to bring technology to bear on all of this. It's health, education, agriculture, tourism. There's a lot Nigeria's got to offer the world. As you know, we are some of the most innovative people on this continent of Africa, if not the world. We have some of the best doctors out there who need to be attracted to come back home, engineers who are here, who are willing to work, but are not allowed to do so because the system just don't encourage it. We want to incentivize workers, and use modern technology to purge our workforce of ghost workers. About 21% of Nigeria workforce is made of fake people. And just ensure that we lower to the barest minimum the cost of governance, because that's one of the things that is killing us. You have things like a state governor or the president of the country with 9 jets, and the country is just 10,000 square miles or kilometers, as they say. What do you need 9 jets for? It's completely unnecessary. We'll get rid of all of that. If we don't know where to put them, we go and use it to start an airline for the country, so that people can be flying in those jets, to retrofit them, put seats in them. You can go to every nook and cranny of Nigeria. Is not very big. We just came from Jalingo, which is the end of Nigeria. On that side, if you go from Lagos, it's on the extreme right side of Lagos. We just came back from there. But what is the problem with traveling around Nigeria? Bad roads. We want to create dual carriageways in between cities, major regions of the country, so that farmers, when they harvest their products, can get to markets on time and sell them and be able to send their children to school, be able to take care of their hospital bills, be able to buy some things for themselves and live happily ever in wherever they choose to do so. But when you have this country has the highest post-harvest loss. All nations of Africa. You know, our electricity consumption per kilowatt is worse than that of South Sudan, or almost at par with South Sudan. For us, we are doing worse than Libya, which is at war. So there's no country equivalent to Nigeria in terms of resources that is performing as bad as Nigeria as it is now. So there's so many things to do, but we need to get down to business very soon.
You have been listening to Omoyele Sowore, a presidential aspirant, the young and energetic Omoyele. Okay, Omoyele, thank you so much. Thank you for coming on Informa Speaks. Thank you for the time.
Perception of what's going on. I'm based in the US. If you go to the US and you say somebody is a Democrat, without even knowing that person, you can tell about 80 to 90% of what that person believes about government, the role of government in governance, and what government thinks about issues like social welfare or infrastructure. You know exactly what they believe. If somebody tells you that they are a Republican, you will know at least 80 to 90% of what they believe. In this country, what does the APC believe? What does the PDP believe?
The broom.
So the
PDP has the umbrella.
There we go, sir. But the point is, in our view, it was extremely important that we begin with what we believe as a group and as a people. And that's why we started with the movement. The movement preceded the party, and both the movement and the party were actually founded by Sowore with the backing of a lot of us that have known him over time, either at the University of Lagos and through the students' movement, or people that have known him since 2006 when he established Sahara Reporters.
The convention, is he going to be the only candidate and his candidature will be ratified, or there are other contenders for the party's flag, presidential flag?
Well, right now he is the only candidate that has completed all of the steps. It was completely thrown open. In fact, throughout the process, there were a number of people who expressed an interest. But then, as you know, politically, I think it's one thing to express an interest. It's also another thing to look at the reality of what is on the ground.
So let me come to you. I mean, as you go to the party convention tomorrow, did you have to buy expression of interest form and nomination form? And if you did, how much did you pay?
We only had a nomination form that I paid for. And
how much? 50 million?
No, it was for 2 million naira. It's just for property.
That's still a lot.
It's a lot of money, and I tell you, I had to reach out to my friends who made the contributions so that I could purchase that form, because we didn't want the party not to have the capability to run its program, including the convention. These things are not particularly cheap. It would have been best for us not to even charge anybody anything. But this is our own contribution to make the party. The party is less than 2 months old.
Okay.
And we don't have godfathers. We can't access bank loans like the big politicians can do. So we had to reach out to ourselves, bond together, and pay that fee on my behalf, which was done last week, yes.
Okay, you have said that your party, once it's set up, is going to be the end of the PDP and the APC, correct?
Yes,
how is that? How do you
don't you see APC unraveling in Lagos? You know, they're falling apart as they are going down. The PDP is in such terrible shape now. They have become a personal liability company of one person in Port Harcourt. So it can't get worse than that. And before that, they tried to even change their name because they have such a bad reputation that they had to look for smaller parties to form a coalition, even though they had always claimed that they're the biggest party on the continent of Africa. How do you then start reaching out to briefcase parties to form a coalition when you claim that you are the biggest? It's just like a father reaching out to his children to form a family. When somebody is corrupt in the People's Democratic Party, people like Akpabio, and when they join the APC, they become saints. Or someone like Oji Zokalo is on trial under the People's Democratic Party, and then when he joins the APC, he gets the chance to go to hospital and claim that he's undergoing surgery that will need about 12 weeks of rest or recuperation. That's nonsense. And nobody is fooled by all of this rhetoric about fighting corruption. There's nobody fighting corruption around here. People are just using corruption to fight, for themselves.
Now add diaspora voting to it. I mean, won't we have a situation whereby all kinds of figures
in the congresses in 30 states,
These are the 30 states where we had candidates that overlap. So, obviously the role of the state congresses is to ensure that you have primaries that can determine that if there are two people going for a senatorial position in one senatorial district, you can have a way of resolving that. We have held congresses in 30 states as of today. All the remaining, the convention is going to be holding tomorrow. We have over 200 candidates for positions from gubernatorial offices across several states to senatorial, to House of Reps, to state houses of assembly. In fact, in December, Take It Back movement has 40 candidates that we're going to be running in Ondo State. Ondo is going to have its local government elections this year. So our view is that it's from the top to the bottom. We're not running a one-man party, we're running a party that is intending to contend for the soul and the heart of Nigeria in 2019.
But for our own education, Sowore earlier on said he paid 2 million naira. That must be one of the most affordable, I think, if you look at what is paid in other political parties.
Yes.
Right? So if the presidential aspirant pays 2 million to take a nomination form, how much have you asked the others to pay?
I'll be very happy to tell you this, sir. So let us start with who is not paying. In our party, who is not paying? Okay. Every handicapped person, every teacher, every person in the medical profession, every retired officer that has served in the security services of this country, every person that is 25 and below that wants to run on our platform is not paying. Any woman running on the platform of our platform is paying 25% of what everybody else pays because we believe there's a significant gender gap in the country.
Okay.
Now, to who is paying? The presidency is 2 million naira. The gubernatorial aspirants are paying 750,000. The senatorial aspirants are paying 500,000. The House of Reps members are paying 250. And then those going for state houses of assembly are paying about 100. And then the local government chairpersons are 50,000, and the councillors are paying 20,000. They are the cheapest rates that you will find anywhere, and it's intentional because if a presidential ticket is 25 million or 50 million, there's absolutely no way that anybody is going to pay for that without having to go to somebody else and asking that person
in public office before. Where are you going to tap that experience that you need to run a country as large and as diverse as Nigeria? It's very interesting that people swear on that. Then it would have meant that people who had the experience we're talking about would have done this country differently. President Buhari, for example, was the president of this country before. President Olusegun Obasanjo was the president of this country before. If you want to count their experience as the experience we need, they should have been the most experienced leaders, but look at where they left this country. The people that I've mentioned in the past who fought for independence, ask yourself, where did they get political experience? Which public office did Awolowo hold before he fought for independence? Which public office did they hold before they became regional leaders that all of us are jealous of today? When Gowon became the president of this country and fought through a war, which political office did he hold before he became the president at the age of 29 or thereabout? None. We're talking about character. Countries that are looking for leaders that will take them to progress are not looking for people who have experience in stealing or assassination or deception. They are looking for people with character. Countries vote for presidents with character. They don't vote for presidents with useless political experiences. I do not need to have been in public office, but here is what I want to tell you about my experience. Every time it was necessary to find somebody to fight for the progress of this country when we needed democracy, as a student activist, I was there. Laid my life, on the ground for whatever could happen. And in 1999, that democracy came about. When there was a time in this country that everybody said if Obasanjo didn't become the president the third time, this country will not make progress. I was one of the few people who stood up and said, third time is unacceptable because we can't afford a Mugabe in this country. When President Yar'Adua was sick and was dying and there was a cabal around him that prevented a minority from becoming president, and all of the political leaders, including judges in this country, including parliamentarians, the Senate, the House of Representatives, even a young person at that time who was Speaker, Bankole, sided against Jonathan becoming president. I used Sahara Reporter to expose the fact that Jonathan was brain dead, and Nigeria needed to prepare for it. Not even the Niger Delta militants could do it. They came back to perform that night. When we saw him later, he said, of course, he has the only contract in the world, which says that after you pay him, he's not under any obligation to perform. That's the last for you. But he taught me in 1992 something I never knew. I knew, but I had to be taught the hard way. That you have to be in charge of your destiny at all times. And Fela was a man who was in charge of his own destiny. But I went to do my uniform service in Yola, Adamawa State in 1995 when I got there walking to a radio station, Radio Nigeria. The only thing on the wall, the only notice from the Ministry of Information is that under no circumstance should you play Fela Nicola Okuti's music in this studio. And that was how it was across Nigeria. Why did I say that? Sometimes we don't celebrate our own. We don't celebrate the contributions that we have made at different times in this country. And that is why I think they don't teach history anymore. Because if we had history in our curriculum, somebody would have told our children that Obasanjo is a bad person. Yes. Somebody would have told our children that Babangida is a thief. Yes. Somebody would have told our children and our brothers that Atiku was the custom officer who made it by stealing and robbery. Somebody would have taught our children that Buhari is a useless man. It's important to not make it an age issue because we've had very young politicians in this country that are not responsible. And we've had old people who are also irresponsible. But it's not about the age of persons now, but the age of ideas. And our problem has been that the age of ideas has destroyed this country. And most people who have old ideas are definitely old people who have been around for almost 80 years in Nigeria now. And it is time to show them the way out of this country, to show them the way out of governance, so that this country can enjoy fresh ideas, freshness of life, people with character, integrity, people with capability, competence, and stamina, because Nigeria needs us. Nigeria will need us. And I hate to say this. I don't like when the media says to Nigerians that it's hard choice to make. What is hard between choosing a Sowore, 47 years old, with exposure, education, who is strong, who's got character, integrity, someone who's got experience as well, history behind him, and old people who have destroyed this country over the years, who you can tell how they run. This is Nigeria of their dream. This Nigeria that's broken with no roads, no hospitals, no water to drink. How is it hard? Okay.
You can train us, you can begin to train us, then we'll have your time. Greatest Nigeria people!
I want the foundation of oppression to be shaken when I ask you, or I say to you, greatest Nigeria people. Greatest of the greatest of the greatest Nigeria people! You know, we have no time. We have no time between now and 2019 to waste. But I can tell you something. That we have already achieved victory. The number of people in this hall today, I've been told, are actually infinitesimal to the number of people on the outside. I heard there are thousands of Nigerians outside this hall as we are here. And they are all yearning for revolutionary politics. Yes. Yes. You know, I would love to give you manifestos. But we have acres and acres of manifestos that have never been implemented by men without character, by men who are deceptors, people who have ruined our future. And we have decided, you know, I'm starting to think that it's not about taking it back, because it looks as if we are actually begging them to give us something back. I am convinced that they are now on the run. They are on the run from this movement. And I can guarantee you that this movement is not just here in Ibadan. It's all over the world. When the people of the United States of America had the same kind of problem we had today, they went to Philadelphia and had what they called the Declaration of Independence. That was how they chased the British kings away from their lives. It is the reason why today, when the English people use kilometers, the Americans will use miles. They change even their standard of measurement. And that's the same thing that we are going to do. When the people of Nigeria wanted independence, they have headed to Ibadan today. And we are going to achieve that independence. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Don't clap for me. This is not the time for jokes. It's not the time for adulation. It's a time for us to get very serious because we have a battle ahead of us. I'm not going to deceive you. These guys are not going to leave power on their own volition. We have been fighting them for 30 years. We have been engaging them. Now is the time to disrupt the system and take it down. It is up to them to choose where they want to be spanked in this fight. It's up to them to choose to live peacefully.
When you say disruption, you're scared.
It's not scaring anybody. I am a digitalist. And when you talk about disruption, it's actually a computer language. That there is a computer word or terminology known as wicked. It's called wicked problem. And what is a wicked problem? They said the wicked problem is not necessarily something that is evil. It is something that is resistant to solution. And the Nigerian state and their operators, not necessarily, but actually a lot of them are cowards. And they are afraid of their shadows as we speak. But they are a little bit resistant to the kind of solution you have been giving them, which is engagement. What is engagement? Every time they come around, they say, well, they make promises, they beg you, they give you bread, 500 naira, they make some promises to you, and you vote for them. That's engagement.
And read for them.
You read for them. You beat people for them. You kill for them. And that is engagement. Disruption is that we change that order. That instead of those of us in the majority always running away from them, being afraid of them, allowing them to steal our commonwealth and loot, we now become the ones who are on the run away from us. That is what disruption is about. When I started Sahara Reporters 12 years ago, I wanted to disrupt the Nigerian media. Edmond Obilo here you gotta give it to him, please. Clap for him for a second, please. It's one of the young people who has come to disrupt the media space by his brand of radio journalism. But there are also useless media people in this country. And I'm not afraid to mention the likes of AIT, who don't pay their workers, who give people business cards to go and extort politicians, who actually partake in corruption. Those people are not supposed to be in charge of our media space. But if it was not for Sahara Reporters, we would have not been able to take the darkness out of the 2015 elections. In fact, it was when we announced the 10 first results that they got scared and they had lost the election. And that was why the next day you saw Orubebe sit down in front of the place and say, where did they get the results? He messed himself up. But that's not the first time our intervention saved this country. When Nigeria was in the throes of disruption by a cabal headed by a woman, the wife of late President Yaradua, it was Sahara Reporters that was reporting on his health. And I laugh at people who say that I am not experienced. I laugh at them. I'm sorry for them. I empathize with them.
Is Sahara Reporters guerrilla journalism?
It is not guerrilla journalism. It is revolutionary media. Because journalism has become a part of media. Journalists are people who write in journals. The way the world works today is such that every journalist has to be part of media. Why do I say that? The biggest media company in the world today is a disruptor. Do you know it? Facebook. Facebook became the biggest media company in the world.
So can I call you a disruptor?
I have disrupted the media space. I'm now here to disrupt the political space.
The incumbent to win the election. Divided opinions as regards that. But what really are you bringing to the table? We've heard the story of how at 12 years old you learned how to ride a bicycle to fish for the family. How have these things shaped you to become, perhaps a president?
Yes. So I have, of all the candidates, I have the longest history of engaging with Nigerian people, doing what is right when it's difficult to do it. I started at the University of Lagos in 1989, fighting along others like Gani Fawemi, Wole Soyinka in this country, Femi Falana, to restore democracy tonight. So the democracy we are enjoying today in Nigeria was as a result of sweat and pain and blood of people like me, not me alone. And that was when I was 21 years old. I was behind Abiola fighting to de-annul the June 12th election. After the annulment went through successfully with the military, we eventually kicked them out in 1999. So I want to remind you that this is not the first time I'm doing this. It's not 2015, but it's understandable that some people did not get to the internet until 2014. So they wouldn't have understood that I also fought against third term when Obasanjo was trying to become a Mugabe in Nigeria, and that I fought against the Yar'Adua cabal when Goodluck Jonathan was prevented from becoming the president, which was his rightful constitutional right at that time. They also forgot that I fought corruption in this country by exposing corruption at all levels in the last 12 years that I started Sahara Reporters. But most importantly, that I'm an entrepreneur, that also I'm a lecturer, a professor that taught for 8 years at the university in New York, and also that I attended one of the best universities in the world, one of the 10 best universities in the US, Columbia University where I studied Master in Public Administration. So I'm the first person who's going to be president of Nigeria who actually has a public admin knowledge.
So how?
The event was not known to the public until today that I'm talking to you, because they had to leave Soyinka with their tail in between their legs. Of course, the moment they saw that Soyinka could not be fooled, they went to that man in Ota. Yes, who is always speaking from both sides of his mouth. The dishonest, unpatriotic, inhuman man. And asked him, well, Baba, with all the traditional rulers doing their normal rules, religious leaders, both Muslim and Christians, and said you have to forgive Atiku, because Atiku is coming back to be president of Nigeria. The usual unpatriotic, inhuman, and wicked Obasanjo invited Atiku to his house and told us that he has not forgiven Atiku. The same Atiku, he claimed that God will not pardon him if he ever recommended to be president of Nigeria. He recommended again to go and destroy Nigeria. And I said somewhere on here last week, I'm not going to speak too much about Africa's history. I teach post-colonial African history in a university in New York for 8 years. There's nothing there. He said to him, I said at that program that if it is true that there is God, and God doesn't punish Obasanjo this time around, so many of us will stop going to church.
As corrupt, are you going to give them the Rawlings treatment? And also within that context, what are you going to do about illicit financial flows, which the African Union has been talking about, particularly President Thabo Mbeki, who is the chair of the AU Committee on Illicit Financial Flows and what it does to African economies?
I think the first thing to say is that I don't believe in death penalty, so I'm not going to give anybody a Rawlings treatment. I even met Rawlings recently and had a conversation about what he did, and it's a conversation for another day. But here is what we must do, is to follow the money. You see, it has become very easy to follow money as they move around these days, and the reason why it's easy to steal from Nigeria is because even when we follow money to the point of exit, instead of closing the gates, we let the money fly out. So our institutions are not working. We must make them work, and we must deploy technology in making them work. It's so easy these days to, even track a transaction of 10,000 naira. because almost everybody is carrying a card around. You spend it somewhere with your debit card. You can track it there. You can track a Nigerian official who is stealing 300,000 naira. If you really are serious with technology, you can track a lot of things. You can prevent a lot of things from happening. But we don't have the will. We don't have people who are capable of doing this. We don't have people who are capable of thinking outside of the box. Doc, I remember when we started Sahara Reporters, people didn't believe it would work because they didn't think internet would have the kind of the penetration in Nigeria that would make it possible for people to be reading Sahara Reporters. I remember people mocking me and saying, "You're not a journalist. How can you make this thing work?" And what I told them is that newspapers are going to the museum, so you better embrace the new technology that is coming, because if you're an editor, you are not waiting for news to break the next day to read it. Why would you rely on a newspaper? Anyway, coming back to what you're saying, is that there's a lot we can combat with where the world is today. If you want to walk into this studio today, maybe by next week, you likely need your fingerprint to enter into the studio. It's already available, cheap. You can use your retina to enter the place. Why are we not deploying that in the civil service? So that the 25% of the ghost workers that we've been hunting for all these years, we can just get rid of them at once with the use of technology. The same thing you do with tracking money. There's an NFIU in the system that is now independent of intelligence unit, that's independent of the EFCC. They can track money because the banks in this country are under obligation to provide suspicious transaction reports to the NFIU. And what are suspicious transaction reports? Anything that is more than mostly 10 million naira. But you can even lower the bar. And when you have all this documentation, you can use them to track people before they even steal. Because sometimes even in the US, it's difficult for monies that are stolen to be recovered when you get lawyers involved. Depending on how big or good the lawyer is, judges are involved. The litigation cost alone, they just make example of people. So what you do is to prevent people from stealing. The illicit financial flows also has to do with international Western banks aiding corruption on the continent of Africa. I say it everywhere that I'm opposed corruption and I expose corruption, but I know for sure that the most corrupt street in the world is based in New York. It's called Wall Street.
Not to forget that, when people talk about the history of Nigeria, in the way they understand it, they forget to mention that at every point in time, Nigeria always had a problem of leadership. And at every point in time, somebody or a group of people always intervene to take Nigeria out of the doldrums. And number one person who did on his own was Fela Kuti. And that is why this name that he adopted for himself, Anikulapo Kuti, is true to today. The man passed on, but he refused to die in Nigeria. So, as I'm standing in front of you today, and I'm telling you a little bit of my history with Fela. Some few years ago, in New York, a friend of mine, called me and said they are looking for someone to act as Fela. That is, there's going to be a show called Fela on Broadway. And I couldn't think of anybody else than myself. So I presented myself. I presented myself to audition to act that role. And it's the reason I will never sing here today. My voice was so bad. Even though my mannerism was exactly like his own, that the guy said, "Please stop. We'll see you next time." I didn't do it because I thought I could be Fela on Broadway, but there was something he was that I wanted to be. I wanted to be the first black president on the continent of Africa. Because Fela would have been the best black president we have had, but because our country is always rejecting his best and going for his worst, we didn't appreciate Fela when he was alive. Some of you sitting here, probably your parents scolded you before for listening to his music. Some of you were ostracized for going to the shrine. Some of you were rejected at home because they said you are too philosophical. That is the kind of country we are not coming to, where there are people in this country, young people, who are always intervened. And we should not forget them. Some young people in this country intervene to drive the military out of power. Yes. There's a man who didn't come here today. I heard he bailed out, Donald Duke. I would have loved to meet him and just remind him that in 1997, or thereabout. He was one of the people who was chanting that Abacha must remain in power. When we were, yes, Donald Duke was part of the Abacha must stay people. And when we were younger, in our 20s, we fought to drive the Abachas out of power. Comfort, who was former president of NAS, sitting across from here, female, they fought to drive Abacha out of power. We fought to drive Babangida out of power. In 84 days, we drove Shoneko out of power when he legally cornered the position meant for MKO Abiola. But nobody is studying us in history books. We are studying criminals. We are praising criminals. Even some of our presidential candidates and aspirants, they look down on us. They look down on our sacrifices in this country. They talk down on us because the only Nigeria they know is Nigeria that talks down on people. The only Nigeria they came to experience is the Nigeria that denigrates its young and youth. Someone asked me when I started running, and I've never told this answer before, say, where do you have experience from to be president of Nigeria? You know the usual thing. And my answer was very costly. How do I get experience when I've never been allowed to do anything in my life by the useless leaders who you claim have experience? It's the same question I was asked when I once applied for scholarship. I think it was one of the oil companies in Nigeria. They came to our area in the largest Eldo when it was called and said they wanted first-class students. Of course, I went there knowing my nature. They said, what's your class in the university? I said, I'm between second class upper at that time, then I dropped to second class lower. You know activism, how it affects you. And he said, but we're looking for first-class students to come for the scholarship. And I told them, if you pollute our water so bad, you pollute our air so well, how do people breathe this air, drink this water, and have first class? It's the same thing for Nigeria. How do you go through so much oppression, denigration, and disgrace by elders such that you are asked for experience? How do you get experience when you've never had a job in your life after graduating from the university? Whichever experience we had to form it ourselves. Whichever jobs we ever had, we had to create those jobs ourselves. And look at the people in Nigeria. There are people who have never even invented a broom in their lives. Some of them cannot tie their shoelaces. Even the umbrella that they use as their logo, some of them cannot carry it over their head when it is raining or the sunshine. So where do you expect us to gain experience from? But the truth is that we have better experience than they do. We have experience fighting for what is right for 30 years in this country. We have experience and a lot of uncelebrated laurels underneath our belt fighting successive military rulers. We have experience fighting the people Fela called international thieves in this country. And you know that we have moved from international thieves into global robbers, GRs. Because what they were stealing when Fela was angry, they no longer steal those things. Those were days of 10% that they collect from contracts. Now, after they are mobilized, they disappear. In fact, in some cases, to get mobilized again, they'll come and destroy the roads that they were contracted to build. We are living in a country of contractors without builders. The country without hospitals. The country without schools. Is the country of the dreams of the Babangidas of this world? Is the country of the dream of the Obasanjos of this world? Or the Abubakars of this world? And the Buharis of this world? And I would say those who are using overtake, don't overtake. No. We should change and upgrade that to overrun. Don't overrun. You can't be flippant with due respect to you. Yes. Another word. No. You can't afford to be because people are watching us. People are listening to us. You've used another word. It's about the future. No, flippant is not an insulting word, but I consider it flippant for you to say that people don't take me serious. You know? It's derogatory for you to say that I'm not being taken serious when I've traveled around 32 states in 9 months. I have an agenda.
I have spoken to crowds around this country. I've been to palaces, I've been to schools, I've been to churches, I have been to town hall meetings, not only in Nigeria, I've been in Canada, I've been in the US, I've been in the UK, I've been in Australia, traveling over 26 hours. And you say people don't take me serious. People are donating to our campaign. You say they don't take me serious, both locally and internationally. Yes, I'm the only one who has raised money publicly and transparently. And you think people don't take me serious? That's why I said they will split back with due respect.
Okay, Mr. Sowore, many Nigerians are watching,
yes,
and they are beginning to tweet at us.
Yes.
Now, one of the tweets that are just coming comes from Escort, and who says, who wants you to respond to this question? How do you intend to govern without having corrupt persons in your cabinet?
Thank you. So, the assumption that every Nigerian is corrupt is what that government will lead you to. That there are a lot of Nigerians who are not corrupt. But the kind of system of governance, of patronage that we've been running over these years have only promoted the interests of the greedy. And we have been servicing the greedy to the point that people don't even know that there are Nigerians who are honest within Nigeria and outside Nigeria, who can help lead this country to prosperity. A lot of them professionals who are doing so well. And our campaign, as it is, we started 9 months ago as a movement, has so many of those Nigerians. In fact, we have gotten to a point where we have a shadow cabinet in place. But if you're in doubt about my pedigree and integrity, I did Sahara Reporters for 12 years. I wasn't the only person there. I had reporters, and you can ask anybody who knows some of our underground reporters. It is against our own rules to even accept what they call communiqua, which is the envelopes that they collect when they go and cover events. If I do not have enough money for my reporter, I don't send you to work. And when I started Sahara Reporters a year ago in a lab in Lagos, I promised that anybody working in that lab will not be paid less than the minimum wage that I'm proposing today. And that's exactly what I did. But you know what? It didn't take more than 2 months after I started when they came after me. They seized the money through a law court in a lorry. The Senate president seized the money. Of course, I just won the case in the Court of Appeal, and we're waiting to get out our money now. So, and that leads me to your question about cultural respect. If you know what the elders of this country have done to us, you know that they don't deserve respect. In fact, we are nice that we still see them and respect them. They've destroyed what could have been of our dignity. They've brought poverty, they've brought diseases. They've stripped us. That is why when you travel abroad, when other people have been separated and treated by human beings, they ask dogs come and sniff you because you are in Nigeria. It's these elders that you ask us to respect that did it to us. Our elders, so many of them, especially the political leaders, don't deserve any respect. I'm saying it without apology. But there are elders in this country who deserve respect, and we respect them, and they respect us.
Yeah, you